Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Starscream, which is also Bishoujo Starscream. Now this is a company that to my knowledge has only done a handful of figures where they turn Transformers into anime-ish figures that do still transform with a relatively complex transformation and a very high level of detail. Now I do have the Bumblebee in storage, but I decided to start with the Starscream one because it's a little bit newer and I just want to make sure that I'm a fan of the quality. And we'll find out throughout this video whether or not I am. As for the instructions, one thing I did not like is that there were two sets of them. While I do like that it's not like a huge page, the lack of color just did end up being a little difficult, but obviously YouTube videos such as this one and just taking extra time to learn it will help. This comes in the robot form, and I actually just took the time to turn into the vehicle form to learn it off camera so I could give you a better experience for watching everything else. Anyways, she does come with two sets of packaging, sort of like the 3-0 Nemesis Prime that I have, and it does have a shield with a couple blades, and then the figure, the jetpack, and a bunch of hands and faces, which is neat. There's a lot of plastic wrap, so you're gonna have to deal with that, but jetpack itself is very stable. Nothing here feels flimsy, and at roughly $100 Canadian, this is a really good figure. It's almost masterpiece level of engineering, but it is certainly a lot more fun to look at. We will ignore the pads on certain areas of the character. They're neat, but they don't really matter. As for the articulation, everything goes past 90 degrees, which is awesome. The legs feel a little stiff at the joints by the hips, and you understand why as you learn the transformation, which is normal. There's ways around it. And then as the second base of the packaging, there is, well, the figure base with the stand for it, and as you can see, all the weapons and extra things. Now there are 4 facial expressions. There's a neutral, shocked, angry, and like a screaming one. The neutral is more like a smirk, which is neat. And then that has the white face, which is more humanoid. And then there's the gray face, which I believe goes off of G1 on how Starscream has a gray face. I do equip those, and it's pretty fun having all those options. Those are the blasters for the backpack, and this is very neat. I very much enjoyed having all the customization here. It doesn't feel like it's overwhelming like some other figures. Now I am going to try not to talk throughout this entire video, but the bottom line is that this is a pretty fun figure. It took a little bit for me to get used to transformations. It's a little complicated at some points, but it's great. Once you do it a couple times, it feels great. Dare I say, almost as satisfying as Autobot Dino, which is one of my more recent videos. And the main concerns I would have are not really related to the figure itself. It's more like the stand, for example. The bar that holds up the figure is not very stable. It moves a lot, and it's not tight enough, so it's able to fall, or the figure will rotate all the way until it hits the ground. So that's a little unfortunate, but other than that, the figure's great. As you can see, the backpack times in fine. It doesn't really block any articulation or movement. It looks great. The guns are a little overly complicated to my liking because you have this little black strip that you need to put into the slot, and then it's just very extra in order to get to the right position sometimes, but they're fun. They look great otherwise. Alright, so here this is the stand, and then this is Starscream in the vehicle form, which is awesome, by the way. It looks phenomenal. I wish the wheels were a little bit more prominent, but it still looks great regardless. And as you can see, it spins very easily, but it's still a very fun jet, and it looks awesome. And you have the shield tabbed in there for the stand. The wheels, they do feel a little weird when you take them out, and it feels like the panel doesn't fully close, but that's a very minor issue. Anyways, going to the transformation soon. We're going to start by putting away the wheels. It is just on the front of the nose and like on the knees, which is the very bottom of the plane, but we can deal with that later. Anyways, let's get rid of the shield. That one is a little awkward, we'll get back to that later. Then as for the guns, you need to untab them from the wings of the jet, and then you can rotate those all the way around. The guns are kind of in a way, so you can remove them or just tilt them to the side. But we'll start by opening these little turbine things, which will allow you to start disconnecting the wings from the body, which is awesome because then you can, in a step or two, we'll be able to fully disconnect the backpack. So what's really nice about here is you can choose whether or not you want the backpack to be connected to Starqueen as you're doing the transformation. And then for the turbines, everything collapses in on itself as you just seen, which is pretty awesome. You have to do a little bit of manipulation here in order to fill that gap, which does bring the guns all the way upwards. And again, it's a lot of moving back and forth for the guns, which can get a little repetitive. Now here, once those things are done, you can sort of tuck them away off to the side. It can get a little difficult, as I mentioned a couple of times. As for the legs, you want to unpin the back jets from the kneecaps basically, rotate the legs all the way down, and then you can just unfold the heels and bring in the shins. I'm not sure if you heard my cat, but we're gonna pretend that she's not at my door asking to bother me. Anyways, once the shins are back up, you can remove the swords, the little knives that she has from the inner thigh, which is a neat weapon storage, but it's hard to get in there, so I kind of avoid it. And then you pretty much redo the leg by opening up the upper quad area and hiding the wheels, and then everything clicks into place and it looks a lot more like the legs from earlier. After that, we're going to start taking apart the nose by opening up the bottom, and this is a little difficult. I kind of play around with pushing one thing in while taking out the other part, and then it's pretty much two pieces that do snap in together, and then you have to untab them from each other, and from there you're able to start undoing a bunch of things, including the arms. Once that's done, we can start getting rid of the cockpit, and by that you have to basically start taking it apart. And this part is a little annoying, but it's not the end of the world. The little orange bits slide all the way down, but again, you can take off the backpack and then your life becomes a lot easier. Arms are able to just slide all the way down, and with a little bit of rotation, they're good as new. And then the main orange part from the cockpit is the only part that stays with the Starqueen body. Then you're going to rotate the head all the way back, put that cockpit down as sort of like a tie, and then you're able to collapse the chest in on itself like so. Starqueen's face does open up during the transformation, so you just need to make sure to recollapse that together. And that's pretty much it. And it's pretty neat because the shoulder pads are able to be moved as well. And don't forget to put the butt flap back on. This is the humanoid form of it. And then as for the backpack, the jet, you can do this while it being attached to her, but it can get a little messy. So here I kind of rotate the front of the nose to the side to allow me to slide these little orange window pieces all the way down. So you have to kind of bring them 180 degrees. They're finicky. I feel like it was fine in the instructions when I did it the first time, but ever since then I've been struggling with it. But once they're out, they're out. And I do believe you get backups of them in the package, which is very nice just in case anything happens. And then you just need to fold in the little jet turbines in on themselves, and then it kind of hides everything. These little red pieces at the top don't super make sense as to what pose they should be in, but it doesn't really matter. It comes down to aesthetic for what you want. And same thing with the guns. I ended up just posing them based off of the box, but really anything works. You can even point the guns towards the enemy. After that, this part can get a little tricky, but you're gonna want to rotate the nose, and then you have to do a little bit of lucky movement and put the nose in through that little hole that you had the humanoid figure attached through. So that's a little crazy and a little difficult. I will admit, the first couple of times you just have to just move everything around, take it in and out until it kind of falls into place. Even now I have a hard time explaining it, but it does collapse and not look as bulky of a backpack as it does right now. I did it unfortunately off camera, but it does all collapse in together, which is awesome once you get there. That one's just a difficult thing to do. Anyways, once you connect it back to the body, this looks just like Starscream, Starqueen, and it's pretty awesome. You can stand a jetpack by itself, and there is an alt mode you can do with it. So I'm going to show you that right now. It is in the instructions, but you pretty much take the middle part of the backpack and you disconnect it from the jetpack, and you start opening up a couple of the pieces, and it kind of becomes like a gun that you can mount onto the wrist, which is also a bad idea because it's very heavy. And they do attach the little knife swords to the side, which is neat because it has like a melee option, or maybe you could view it as a gun, but it's hard to attach it. The plastic isn't very concise, and I find that on my copy at least I had a couple issues with it. It took a while, but eventually I got it in, and it worked. Here is it on the Starscream figure. As you can notice, it doesn't like to stay. It's very hard for it to stay. The slightest movement, it'll fall off, but it's cool. It looks great. I don't really see much use in it, so I'm not personally going to use that a lot. I find the figure looks a lot better as a whole, but that's just something I wanted to show you guys. And then yeah, as you can see, you have to put this piece all the way back in, and then it will look like a normal backpack. You do have to kind of work some magic in order to get it through because it's very precise and the clearing is very small. Anyways, once it's back on, we can go right ahead back to the vehicle form because this is what you're going to be starting with. So you'll start by taking out this piece here like so, and then you can rotate it all the way around because we're going to start by building it over here. Take out the thrusters, and then we're going to sort of form the outer shell of the jet. So open up the middle parts, and then you'll be able to slide these orange pieces all the way forward, and the trick is to have the nose rotated 90 degrees off to the side to allow you to slide those pieces out. It can get a little frustrating, but just take your time, don't push anything too hard because you don't want to break anything, obviously. Once those pieces slide out, they do kind of work with that main orange piece that we're going to be getting from Starscream's tie later. There is a backup orange piece you can put in, but that's mostly just for show, not for the actual transformation. Once this is done, you just want to prepare it so you can combine it with the Starscream figure. So you're going to move the guns into the right position, and you can also even rotate the wings too. That one's up to you. I find sometimes they get in the way if they're in the right position too early, but you can still start manipulating the guns to make it easy to tab in once it's time. After that, you're going to open up the turbines, take out the little pieces from the inside to fully extend them out, and then that's it for the backpack. As for the robot mode, so we can start by bringing the arms all the way up, like so, and then you will be turning them toward with the forearms facing you, and then you can start moving the head sideways so that you can open and unlock the chest area, like so. And then after that, you can untab the tie, and then you have to open the sides of Starqueen's head, and then this will go all the way up, and then you'll rotate the head backwards. After that, you're able to bring the hands all the way up, and the elbows do like bend in on each other so that you can sort of bring the hands together as one. The chest will flatten out towards the outer side of it, then you can fold down the heels, bring out the shin pads and make them look like these triangles that are out front. And then after that, you're going to want to start collapsing the knees and taking out the quads so that you can take out the wheels. Don't forget the side quad piece, and then you can put everything back together. Perfect. And then after that, you do need to do a little manipulation on the hips. Don't forget the butt flap, and then you fold it over, and then you're able to connect the backpack, because now you have the shell ready to wrap the figure. So the hands go into that little container at the top there, and we can actually close this first. So don't forget to tab everything in, and then close the flaps. And it does all snap into place, which is pretty awesome. And then as for the nose cone, you just kind of have to bring that little piece down. But don't forget, when you do connect it, the tie from the Starscream figure does go through that hole so that you can finally create that cockpit right there. Like so. And then you can fold down the neck piece. As for the legs, don't forget to angle them out like I just did, and then you can start folding them all the way down. You don't tab in too much, but it still kind of stays in place, because it's very well done, which is amazing. But yeah, once the legs are all the way in, you'll notice they pretty much line up with each other, and then you do have to line up the thrusters to tab into the inside of the knees. That can be a little difficult because you have to do both at the same time, or else you'll take out the other one. But once that's done, they're able to rotate and move by themselves while remaining attached, which I think is a very neat feature, sort of to angle like where your propulsion is coming from. Once that's done, you just want to pretty much click everything together, make sure everything is nice, tight, and concise, and then it's just a matter of the turbine and then closing in the wings, connecting that to the body. So you can sort of fold in the wings like you can see me do, and it brings it very snug to the body, and it allows you to connect these red pieces that we didn't really know what they were for to the body, which is neat. And then those turbines at the top actually go on top and cover the foot, which is a very awesome way of hiding the figure. And one thing that you may notice is that initially the blue triangles on the legs were too far forward, so I'm just moving those back. So same thing here is that we're bringing everything together, tabbing in the red piece, and then the turbine's going to close after moving that blue piece back. And then we're almost done. We're going to work on the wings. And then we're going to connect those guns over to the wings. Not too bad. You just have to manipulate in a way to have it upwards facing so that you can have the pin go into the right area. After that, it's just a matter of putting the shield towards the stomach, the middle of the figure, so that you're able to properly display it, and the front wheel. And that's it. I did end up talking for the entirety of this video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions, because I know this is a kind of difficult figure, but we win these, and I hope to see you in the next one, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Anyways, have a great day. Bye-bye.